Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Praveen and you are watching Techie Praveen. So in this video, I am going to talk about what is API. So let's get started. So first question is what is API? I hope you have already seen this meme in most of the social media. This is a very good example of how what is backend, what is frontend, and what is APIs. So in this image, there is a kitchen, there is a restaurant, and there is a waiters. So in backend, all food preparation, all logics are there, and in front end, all fancy things, all clean seats, clean plates, everything looks good. Every fancy things are there that attract the user. And then there is a waiters, there is a API, which is actually communicating between front end and back end. They are actually serving food from taking from back end and delivering it to the front end, taking the orders from front end and then delivering it to the back end. Okay, so this is known as this is a very good example of API, how exactly API works. So let me take another example. So if you are actually searching google.com in your browser, what exactly happens? So if you are searching, typing google.com in your browser and hit enter, then what is happening is actually you are making a request to the Google server to get the google.com, right? And in response, you will get a web page. So, and by using the API, actually things gonna work. So, API is like a mediator from front end or back end that are actually taking the response request from the user and giving to the database, and then taking the response from the server and giving to the actual user. In front of your screen, you will see another example. That is user, API, and application. User is a person who is actually ordering a food. API is a waiter, and then there is a kitchen, or you can say there is a place where a lot of food is staged, right? So a user is actually requesting API for a particular food, which is known as a request, and then API, then the waiter goes to the kitchen and asking other person to prepare a food. That is a request, and then once the food is prepared, then the waiter, that is the API, taking the food from the kitchen and then delivering to the user. That is known as a response. So whenever a user is hitting a URL, it actually raising a request, and in return, when it hits to the database server, and then you will get a response, you will get a web page or an application. So this is a very good example of API. So what is API? API is a mediator between front end and back end, which is taking the request from the user and giving the response from the server. So this is a very simple thing of API. So let me talk about what is the exact definitions of that. Okay, so API stands for Application Programming Interface. It is a set of rules and protocols that allows different software applications to communicate with each other. APIs defines the method and data formats that application can use to request and exchange information. So API stands for Application Programming Interface. That basically is a set of rules that helps in exchanging information from front end or back end. Okay. In APIs, there are certain formats, or you can say there are certain things that makes an API. So they consist of endpoint. What is an endpoint? An endpoint is a specific URL where an API can access the resource or services it provides. An API might have multiple endpoints for different type of requests. So what is API? What is endpoint? So basically, Google.com is an API, is a endpoint. Actually, you are hitting a endpoint. So if you are using a particular application, or you are searching for a website like Amazon.com or Flipkart.com or any other website, you can easily check the URL, that whenever you are moving from one page to another page, your URL is changing. So that is known as the endpoint. So the base URL is same, that is www.amazon.com, and the next and the things that are coming after that are changing. That are different endpoints. So every page have a different endpoints where the main URL is same. What is request? What is request? The action an API client makes to retrieve or send data. Request typically includes method like get, post, put, delete, etc. So what is request? Whenever you are hitting a URL, is known as a request, and whenever you are receiving something from the server, you will get a response. So what is response? The data that the API sends back after receiving a request. This could be in formats like JSON, XML, or plain text. Now, what is authentication and authorization? APIs often require mechanisms like API keys, OAuth tokens, or JWT JSON Web Tokens for verifying the identity of the user, making a request, and ensuring that they have access to the requested data. So authentication and authorization basically whenever a login is required on a particular website on an application, it checks that a current the exact user the authority is given for that user or not. So whenever you are hitting a request, it also includes your username and password, and in the backend it will check whether the user is exactly exists in the database or not. And once it identify that the user is exists, then it will give you an exact response. So what is rate limiting? So rate limiting API often restrict the number of requests a client can make in a certain time period to avoid overloading the service. So rate limiting is that sometimes the most of the website are actually placing a rate limited in a particular given span of times. A particular user can send how many requests. So this is used to avoid the hacking or for security vulnerabilities, to avoid security vulnerabilities. So this is for this video. I hope you like the video and I'm able to clear you or I'm able to explain you what is the API. So in the next video, we're going to see a lot more good points. So this is only for this video. I hope you like the video and you like my teaching style. In case you are facing any issue and you are not able to understand any points, please do let me know in the comment section. I will definitely try to help you by creating a video or giving the answers in the comment section. Thank you. Thanks a lot.